So we'll call the City Council regular meeting to order for Monday, November 20th, 2023. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Burnett. Here. Councilmember Lean.
Here.
Councilmember Porter. Sorry, she's absent. Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Mayor Hoyt.
Here. All right. Any changes to the agenda? Nick or Holly? Leah?
I have one change, Mayor, and that's the removal of 8.2 under public hearing, and we are removing it just to make some language clarifications.
All right. Thank you. Unless there's any other changes to the agenda, we would look for a motion to approve the agenda, removing item 8-2.
Motion to approve the agenda, removing 8-2.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Holly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on. We'll go to our item 5, which is our announcements. At this point, we'd like to welcome Commissioner Slavic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city administrator, city staff, and those watching on TV. It's always great to be here to give the annual brief county update. Once again, my name is Mike Slavic. I'm the county commissioner representing all of Southern Dakota County, including Farmington. And I absolutely am, it's my pleasure to be here today just to give an update of what's been happening in 2023, as well as a little bit looking forward onto 2024. I'll start off with just kind of a general conversation on road construction that happened. I think that many of the residents around Farmington certainly felt the burden of road construction all year long, and many of those projects happened outside of city limits, but certainly had the impact on that. I'll just briefly talk about them, as we're pretty much done with the construction season for 2023 on Dakota County projects and everywhere else, because the asphalt plants have closed down. So we're moving on with that. But you know, there was a very large project on 52 that actually created a lot of extra traffic on the southern part of Farmington, particularly with County Road 78 and 3 having many accidents where our public safety had to be called out far too many times because of a lot of unfamiliarity with detours and such. So that intersection, some intersections on the east side of 52, the sheriff was saying that they had about almost 300% increase in accidents in certain intersections that were pretty much they could attribute to people who didn't know exactly where they were going and were off detours on that part. And there, a positive of what has happened in that is the county has been trying to work with the state and MnDOT on that intersection on 78 since it was reconstructed back in 2020, and was not having much success on some safety improvements, which are standard in our rural intersections. And it took more work than it should have to be able to get this accomplished, but we, in multiple urgency, we were able to get some of the standard protocol for our rural intersections, the flashing stop signs, the reflective bars, the larger than normal stop signs, and on both sides. Since that has happened, we have seen some, we've had two things happen. One, the 52 project has been moving forward and did that, but also we have seen a little bit more safety that's happened out of that one there. Certainly not within the city limits, but also just like the second project, 179th and Pilot Knob, also now that's in the city of Lakeville. That project also opened, but we've seen accidents there over the recent years that certainly had an impact on the safety on our county road system and all of our friends and neighbors. So those two projects will actually help make our Farmington area safer. We're glad to see them done. Wish some, in many ways, they've been done sooner, but we're glad that they did make it. I want to just talk briefly on the 50 Flagstaff, which is open now, driven it over the weekend. And as I just want to remind you that, one, I thank the city for the support on that, but also that this is an intermediate solution. We know that as more development goes on Flagstaff, that there's going to have to be a more complete safety improvement on that. But until the car numbers get up to where it is and the activity does, this does make that intersection safer for our young people and for all adults and drivers in Farmington. So I know it's not without controversy, and there's still people who love it and who don't love it. But the fact is that we're able to address this part here, and I think it's important to share the message that this is just a step in an overall project. The next thing, just as you can see under construction right now, the North Creek Greenway the trail system that the county's in the process of, with the city's partnership, to rebuild that trail section and have that become part of the county system, so that for many generations that will no longer be on the burden of the Farmington taxpayers, but on all taxpayers as part of a 200-mile greenway. So we have been aggressive on trying to get more and more sections that were city trails for decades, that are part of a grand master plan, to actually get under an overall greenway system. And this phase it's looking nice. I was up there this weekend just to check it out, and glad to see that. And I know the taxpayers of Farmington will love to have something that will not be on their tax rolls coming up in the next year. So that goes well. I think going with that is the county and myself were somewhat involved in the Rambling River redesign. And just to make note of that, if you're not aware, part of the county's policy when we do our greenway system in that, and Rambling River being a trailhead, that the county contributing $400,000 to that process to help with that park renovation, as well as some requirements with the trailhead. So that's a really a good 2023 update. Any questions on that before I move to looking ahead to 2024?
Nick, Holly? Steve, any questions? No.
All right.
All good.
2024, we have some exciting news happening tomorrow, and that is many of you on the council are well aware of the Denmark Trail Workforce Townhouses just south of here that we've been working with, and the city of Farmington has been very good as a partner in this part. And so Farmington went and this is going to be a mixture of 1-bedroom singles, as well as 4 bedrooms and the traditional 2 and 3 bedrooms. And these are mostly families outside of the singles who have a job, but their income is not necessarily at a level that they can afford market rate rent. So this is a real opportunity with the industrial park just up the road to be able to get local people to go in and be able to have jobs locally and be able to also raise their family in Farmington. So we're short with the income tax credits that we have for constructing them when it was awarded last year. And tomorrow, the County Development Agency, the Dakota CDA, will be awarding the remaining in there so that we can go out for bid in the matter of a month or two. We're working on some last final details with that, and then construction and ribbon cutting will be in the spring and for the groundbreaking, and we hope to get people in a year later for the next summer. But those units will be able to help that part there, to get people to be able to actually have the employers in the community to actually have people who will work for them. So we're excited on that part in there. A couple other things I just wanted to make quickly note of is in 2024, you're going to see some of the work behind the scenes on some pilot knob improvements from 195th Street South to 50. The city's actually taking the lead on some of the trail gaps for pedestrian safety on that part in there, but you'll see the design and preliminary engineering that will actually be worked on for pilot knob as of now, with as of the moment planned construction in 2025 for the improvements on pilot knob south of 195th. Cost of that's about $3 million with that one. Next year you'll also see some railroad improvements on 50 here in the downtown area. As well as the possibility, if it works within the schedule, to have a mill and overlay from 3 to the west on 50s. So that's kind of what's going on for 2024. One of the things that I would like to just acknowledge, I do this as an annual report, and I'm always willing to come once. The fact of the matter is I meet regularly with the mayor, with the city administrator, and I'm always willing to do that with the other council members if you want to grab a cup of coffee and just talk about things. But I'm certainly willing to do this more than once a year as well. One of the community of Hastings, I have 21 cities and townships, but the community of Hastings had said last year when I talked a little bit about market rates and what was happening, because they saw such a substantial increase in residential value. They said, you know what, we think actually having a second time and bringing the county assessor in the springtime on an annual basis, just to be able to let them know what's been happening on your commercial property valuations, your residential and all that. So I would certainly be, since they're already working on it for the city of Hastings, they actually, these county assessors said they saw value in coming in the spring to other communities, just so that you're not seeing such of a shell shock. And that actually has been very positive within the phone calls since our property tax statements just came out last week. The phone calls have been different questions than we saw last year based on some of that. So I'm certainly welcome to bring staff and come in we can coordinate with Farmington City staff if that's something you're interested in. But I know that speaking to your peers in the city of Hastings, they saw a lot of value in just having that little education, and the paper wrote a little article on that, and it was very positive. But regardless of that, I'm always willing to come at any time there's an issue that we should be talking about. So the last thing that I just want to make note is that I was able to kind of just do a quick survey on the property taxes for the county portion on here. It looks like the county portion will be about somewhat, depends on what your value is, how much you went up on there, but it looks like depending on where you are, you're going to see about an $8 a year increase to a $10 reduction, depending on where you are, was kind of the norms in the city of Farmington for that. So that's kind of the property tax side of things on there. And then lastly, I just want to thank you for the partnerships that we have in Dakota County and with myself and as electeds here. You know, that's not always the standard, even in Dakota County. So I appreciate that you're willing to pick up a phone call, send a text or an email if there's an issue that we can work on and be better partners with that. I think that's something that my own peers have made note of, saying we like how you have a good relationship with your 21 cities and townships, so we probably should do a better job. So I really see how Farmington and Dakota County and myself work is really a model that hopefully in 2024 we can go in and kind of lead by that example to do that. So I have nothing further. I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, a happy holiday season. And as always, for you or for anyone watching on TV, feel free to reach out to me. My office phone number or email are on the county website, and you can feel free to get a hold of me and see if we can get some things done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Steve? Nick or Holly?
Those other townships don't have turkey bingo for your peers to attend to bond with your local elected.
Yeah. So we had a fun time at Turkey Bingo this year, but yes, they don't have Turkey Bingo. They have other fun stuff, but not Turkey Bingo. So
Well, I appreciate everything you do. You're like I said, you're very well connected with everyone here. None of us feel like you're distant or unapproachable. So I always appreciate the constant feedback.
Thank you. And it's mutual. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll just echo what Nick said. 5th year we've been working together, and you're very receptive. Compliments to you and the county board for addressing the realignment of 9 and the stoplights at 179th and Pilot Knob. That was one of those things that I think everybody that drives it, even for those residents that are leaving the community, wow, I can't believe this isn't going to have something done. And then all of a sudden it was like it was planning, it got pulled ahead on the CIP. And I think that more than anything I want to compliment you on is the flexibility that we identify locally, that sometimes it might be 2 or 3 years out, but there's a compelling need or something that needs to be addressed, and the willingness to sit down, converse about it, find out how it can be accelerated if needed and warranted, and then working diligently and as expeditiously as you can to get it done. Change is uncomfortable, and we deal with it as we can, but I especially appreciate your attention to detail and ultimately benefiting the residents and the business owners that are here in town. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Here, I'll let you continue.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, which are citizen comments. We'll move right on to our consent agenda. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Nick,
Second?
second by Holly. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, and we'll move on to number 8, which is our public hearing. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing for The amending of Chapter 18 of the Farmington City Code related to peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants. And since it is a public hearing, I'd like to go and open the public hearing at this time. And Shirley, you're good.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is, as I said, Chapter 18, an amendment to Chapter 18 of the Farmington City Code relating to peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants. Just want to point out some of the significant changes to the ordinance. Adding a definition for non-commercial door-to-door advocate and cleaning up other definitions. Adding exceptions from licensing for certain activities, some of which include persons establishing a regular customer delivery route for perishable food and dairy products, persons making newspaper deliveries or attempting to establish a newspaper route, any person holding a garage sale, rummage sale, estate sale, persons holding a multi-person bazaar or flea market, persons selling products grown, raised, or produced on a farm, or an auctioneer conducting an auction. These types of activities do not require a license. Other changes are amending our application requirements and procedures, changing the license term from what was either an annual or 6-month license to an annual license. That fee we would bring back with your fee schedule at the next meeting. Adding hours for when business may be conducted, which was not in our ordinance. So it would be allowed between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. And then adding a section on exclusion by placard, that if there is a visible marking with a sign or placard that reads peddlers, solicitors, and transit merchants prohibited unless invited onto the property, they are not allowed to. The city attorney has reviewed and provided valuable assistance on this amendment. Staff is requesting that council approve Ordinance 023-778, amending Chapter 18 of the Farmington City Code regarding peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants with an effective date of January 1st.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Steve?
No, I just have a couple of comments. You know, Shirley, I really appreciate all the work that you put into this. I mean, there's, this is a very large is not the right word. It's a big adjustment to this ordinance, but I think it was needed, especially after a lot of residents reached out to all of us with concerns about, you know, businesses. I'm assuming very legitimate businesses, but kind of going door to door and maybe not having the appropriate credentials and not knowing what to do. So this really helps out that part of it. And the only comment I guess I would add is, you know, when you do come back with kind of a fee schedule, license schedule, you know, make sure that we're in line with our neighboring communities. We don't want to be too low, for example, and, you know, kind of want to be right there in the middle, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Nick?
Yeah, I'll echo a little what Steve said there. I really appreciate that that cleaned up. I know this probably stemmed out from some complaints earlier in the year, so everything was nice to see such a thorough addition of the language in here, so thank you.
Thanks.
Holly?
I guess the only thing that I would like to point out just for the people that are listening is that question that comes up around, well, my kids are selling this or the team needs that. Can you just speak for, you know, a minute or two into what has or has not changed for those people who might be sitting here and maybe aren't, you know, privy to all of the language or aren't understanding all the language, to clarify just that little piece for them?
Correct. Yeah, this isn't requiring your students to get a license to go door to door. That's completely outside of it.
And I just, you know, you think about that, right?
Right.
When the individuals are sitting here and going, oh no, now what, you know, what do my kids need to do, or what does my my community group need to do? And that just reiterating that that's not what we are talking about here.
Correct.
That all of those things go on as usual.
But Holly, what you could do is say, well, you know, young lady, do you have your peddler's permit? And then watch him or her completely freak out, and then you say, no, I'm just kidding.
That's not nice.
Well, no.
Good?
I'm good. No, I appreciate the clarity in the language. I think it's going to help with a lot of things that were gray.
Thank you.
So generally speaking, to kind of build on Holly's question or statement was hailstorms, pest services, any business operating in a door-to-door capacity soliciting
Correct.
should apply for and obtain a Peddlers, Solicitors, Transient merchants.
Yes, I believe as it
license.
states, door to door, business to business, place to place.
Okay. Do we, well, another comment, I especially appreciate the timeframes. Not having one previous and, hearing the horror stories at 10 o'clock at night and stuff, just that doesn't work. So especially appreciate that. Has there been any conversation about what some of the, like you come into some communities and they say, building permits required or whatever. Any conversation thus far about whether or not we're gonna have any peddlers license, little things put on, whether it's speed limit signs or anywhere? Just
We-
thinking, trying to get out in
We
front
haven't
of it.
had that discussion as of today.
Okay, all right, good deal. All right, well, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in attendance that would like to speak. Commissioner, you wanna weigh in? No, you're good? Okay. All right, so since we have no residents to speak, at this time, we will close the public hearing. Any further deliberation? Nick, Holly, Steve? All right, then we look for a motion to approve and pass ordinance 023-778, amending Chapter 18 of the Farmington City Code regarding peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants.
I will make a motion to approve.
Motion by Steve,
Second?
second by Holly. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lean,
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Right on to roundtable. Holly.
Oh, all right. Well, I had a great time over at Bachman Middle School Auditorium this last weekend. FHS Theater put on the somewhat true tale of Robin Hood. A lot of the community came out to support our youth. That was great to see. I am not going to take anyone's thunder, and I'm sure, Kelly, you will speak into the Holiday Light Tour. And Chief, you will speak into Toys for Town. Then that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Nick?
Yeah, there's no fire department here. They're all resting from turkey bingo, but I had a blast at turkey bingo, even though my children were angry they didn't win. But and I thank you for that, to them for putting that together. It's always a great time.
My husband was angry he didn't win.
Comes with the territory.
Steve?
I was at the patriotic event last week, and it was, as usual, very well attended. So there are probably too many people to thank, but I know Doug Taube and the veteran organizations, the school district put a ton of time and effort into it. The high school band, high school choir was just fantastic. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Leah?
I was just admiring this lovely magazine of Farmington Currents, and I'm excited to dive in later. I didn't have anything for Roundtable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now you stole mine, so.
Lynn, you're up.
City offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday in observance of Thanksgiving. And I want to thank Mr. Slavic for being here and giving us an update. Thank you.
Thank you. Shirley, anything to add?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Good? All right. Julie?
I do not tonight.
Y'all breaking the rules. Deanna?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to let you know that the Ebert's construction project, the apartments, is moving right along. And we are building out a way to communicate to the public and having basically weekly touch points. And so our building official and the building inspector staff is meeting with the construction manager over there. And starting very soon, we're gonna get a weekly list of what's been done and then what is coming up. So that way, if, for example, cranes will be delivered starting in a couple weeks, that is going to cause people to be like, oh, what's happening? Or just create interest. And so we'll be able to communicate that and we'll know in advance. There'll actually be 3 cranes on site over the course of the construction.
The first one will be right smack dab in the middle of the site, and it should be there by, I believe they said December 18th, so that's coming up. We're also working to provide some drone footage so that people are gonna be able to see what the construction as it like a snapshot once a week with this drone footage so that we can actually all watch this construction come up out of the ground. So we're working on all the details and what that's going to be, but it becomes a way to communicate and provide just proactive information to our residents, to our downtown businesses. So I'm excited about that and more to come with that. And otherwise, thank you for the great EDA discussion, and I don't have anything else.
Thank you, ma'am. John?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Reminder, there is a water board meeting next Monday. Next Wednesday evening, we're having our second informational meeting for the 2024 street improvements, which is the reconstruction area, 6th and Maple. You may notice out in the field, especially east of Highway 3, we'll be doing our sidewalk inventory using GPS and mapping that through GIS, doing that electronically this year for the first time. And for the benefit of the commissioner, as city engineer, public works director, I really appreciate the responsiveness and communicativeness of his staff, particularly with the County Road 50 improvements and the schedule being updated almost weekly on that. That was very helpful.
Thank you, sir. Kelly?
The Open Door Food Pantry will be at the Rambling River Center tomorrow, 3 to 4:30. As a reminder, they come the third Tuesday of the month. So tomorrow from 3 to 4:30 at the Rambling River Center. The next 2 Saturdays, we have holiday events at the Rambling River Center. Both of them are from 9 to noon. This Saturday, we have Trains and Treats, sponsored by the Rambling River Model Railroad Club. Saturday, December 2nd, we have the Secret Holiday Shop. Kiddos get to shop with volunteers while parents visit the downtown businesses. We are still needing volunteers for that. It's from 9 to noon, like I said, on Saturday, December 2nd. Information is on the Farmington MN.gov website. You only have to be in middle school or up to 102 to volunteer for that. So we are definitely in need of volunteers helping the kids shop, wrap, and do tasks that morning. And then the Holiday Light Tour. We have 16 homes as of today. Deadline is next Monday, the 27th. And then you have to have your lights turned on by December 4th. So all the information, like I said, is on the homepage, including the registration link. So register your home today and we'll get it on the tour.
Thank you,
What
ma'am.
is the minimum light count required for the light tour?
No minimum
1.
or maximum.
1.
Griswold level.
Yep.
Too much time.
Put a green bulb in your light outside the house. Register. Kim?
As Commissioner Slavik mentioned, residents should have received their Dakota County tax statements. So Finance is busy prepping the proposed final budget and will be presenting that information to you at the next meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief?
Yeah, as mentioned previously, it is Toys for Town season. So I know I shouldn't get nervous about this every year, but I do. I always worry that we're not going to get enough toys donated or we're not going to get enough cash donated. There's not going to be enough volunteers. So I like to just give constant reminders. We are always seeking new unwrapped toys for kids from birth up to age 13. If your heart is set on taking care of kids 14 to 17, we would look for probably a financial donation for you or from you for that, so that we can purchase them gift cards. Financial donations also go to providing meals, a really nice holiday meal to each family that's involved. If you're looking to volunteer some of your time, wrapping day is Saturday, the December 16th from 9 to noon at the high school. I always worry that we're not going to have enough people show up. Farmington always delivers, so I shouldn't be nervous, but that doesn't change the fact that so yeah, that about sums up Toys for Town. That's what we're looking for. Toys, time, or treasure, whatever you got for us, we'll take it.
I like it. Thank you, sir. First, I wanted to say thank you to the Riverview Elementary 4th graders. I got invited in there last week, talk a little bit about local government and what it is that we do and course services. And I somehow got convinced to do the gritty at the end of it, which is some kind of little dance that they all freaked out about. So if you see it on Facebook on Riverview's page, it's quite a laugh because I am not a dancer. But I think that was the highlight of their day. But it's always fun getting to talk to our youth, you know, experience them in a little bit. Over the summer, Lynn and I met with some of the community ed kids that come into City Hall for a couple of weeks. They were touring both City Hall and Fire Station 1, so that was fun. But yeah, it's that time of year where, again, I said this last time, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? And you'll find the currents, the winter edition, in your mailbox. Please take the time to read through it. There is a lot of good information in here. The winter events or the quarterly events are always on the back, so plug those into your phone. That way you don't forget about them and the thing happens and we say, oh, I wish I would have known. Well, it's there. It's on the website. It's on our Facebook page and our social media channels as well. But there's always good information in there. Good update as to progress, where we're at, scheduling for Park and Rec. A lot of good tidbits that you can't find anywhere else. So it is mailed to all residences and businesses within the community. Don't just throw it in the recycle bin, please. Actually look through it. I don't have anything else to add. So with that, we look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Nick.
Second.
Second by Holly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we're adjourned at 7:30.